Well, good morning, friends. Welcome to another Worship on Wheels, and I am so glad you joined me this morning. I think I've got something that is really interesting. Had a conversation with a friend of mine this week that was just, it was very enlightening, I think, to both of us. It was on why, our motives behind things. And I'm going to stop, and we had a couple of verses that we were basing this off of. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful conversation. And I just thought I would share some of that conversation with you so that you could get the flavor of it, and maybe you'll get as much out of it as I did. So I'm going to pull over right here, and I am going to read those Bible verses real quick. And when you hear them, you're going to be like, man, those things, they don't do the same thing. They're saying different stuff. All right, here's the two verses we're going to be looking at. First off is Matthew 6:1. It says, "Take care not to practice your righteousness in the sight of people to be noticed by them. Otherwise, you have no reward with your Father who is in heaven." And we were comparing that to Matthew 5, verse 16. "In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Well, as we had this conversation, and I think that for those who don't really study the Bible, the first thing they're going to say, man, those two verses are complete confliction with one another. I'm going to fix this butt buffer. I had it in the back. Don't want it to blow off. Coach Vic was using it, and I forgot to take it off this morning when I left the house. All right. So this buddy of mine, and he's a younger dude, he was like, Coach, could you talk to me about those things? What do you think? The reality is this. What these concepts in these two verses is saying is identical. It's your motives. It's who you're giving the glory to. In other words, if you're going to glorify God, shine that light, make it loud, make it bold. If you're going to glorify you, dim the bulb a little bit. Our job is not to glorify ourselves. Our job is not to lift ourselves up and make us seem more important, more intellectual, more wealthy, more fancy, more famous. Our job is not to do that. You know, it's funny as a Christian, and I'm guilty of this. I have a confession to make. I am very guilty of this. Do you ever find yourself giving so that you would get? You know, I give at church, and I go to church, and Lord, you should bless me because of that. I mean, I gave, I sacrificed. You should give me some stuff. I mean, I earned it. And I think a lot of times what we're doing there is we are revealing what our real motive was. We were hoping that it would be recognized and that we should get a reward for it, and we should get a reward for it now. And that motive, that underlying motive, is part of being a human being, and we all struggle with that too, by the way. So if you've done that, or if you do that, don't feel like you have the corner on the market, because we all do it. There are two kinds of people: those who do it and those who say they don't. But right, I mean, we go to work a lot of times, and we work and we go, man, my motivation is simply to be better than that guy, or to get that raise. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't get a raise, and I'm not saying that there are times when you might have deserved the raise, when you were overlooked. But your motive to do good work and to work hard is simply because you want to do the right thing. It shouldn't be a desire to get more. That is a very, very difficult concept. Probably a concept that virtually all of us, and myself included, will never firmly get a hold of. Because I do things and I have expectations, right? If you treat someone kindly, you expect to be treated kindly. If you treat someone fairly, you expect to be treated fairly. If you don't say bad things about someone, you don't expect them to say bad things about you. Now, to a large extent, that does come to fruition, because if our motives are pure, a lot of times those arbitrary things that would come out otherwise don't come out. The old, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, that sort of thing, that works to a certain degree, but you have to realize that everyone's not going to have pure motives. One of the things I talk to the young people about on my team that I have the privilege of coaching is the pursuit of excellence. Not in the sense of beating someone else. I've been told I'm competitive, and I guess from outside looking in, I am. But if you were to ask me if I'm really competitive, I would say probably not. I don't get jaded or beat up if someone is better than me, or faster than me, or stronger than me, or smarter than me. And there are plenty of those all over the world that can beat me in any of those endeavors. But the reason I'm told that I'm competitive is I'm always pushing. I get up every morning to get something done every day. Why does it matter? Why does it matter if a video comes out on time? It doesn't matter. But it matters to me, because the pursuit of excellence should be in every endeavor, simply because we are called to a higher calling. Not so that others will recognize it, but for the absolute joy of the pursuit of that excellence. That's what we're called to do, not to get accolades of man, but to do it because that's what we were called to do. And through that greatness, that excellence, we can shine the light on the one who called us to do it. I often tell the young people on the team, if you and I were racing, you would say that I was competitive, but the reality is, if you weren't in the pool, if I was in the pool alone, I would still chase excellence. Your physical presence just makes it an observable task, but it was always the task that is laid before me. This quest for excellence does not stop when you get out of the pool or get off of the football field or whatever, when you leave the office. It's being the best driver on the road, the safest driver, the most focused. Now, I fail at that a lot, I'm going to tell you that, I do. But we should pursue excellence. We shouldn't be lazy in anything that we do. We're not called to a life of apathy. We're called to a life of excellence. And the motive behind that excellence truly does matter. Often, the young people I coach hear this. If you are the fastest swimmer on this team, but you are a terrible teammate, I got no use for you. Now, I know that is terrible English, and I should pursue excellence in my speech patterns and how to maybe convey a message a little better. But I think you get the point. To simply be the fastest swimmer, if that's your goal, then you're just chasing a time, a clock. And there are people that are going to do that, and that's okay. But there should be more to it than that. The lifting of others, the motivation, the inspiration of others. Those things matter. Those motives matter. In fact, I dare say they matter more than the clock that you're racing against. So remember, no matter what you do, think about why you're doing it. And there's always that prayer that we can ask God, search my heart. Search my heart. Lord, show me where I'm failing. And always try to give unselfishly so that you're not lifting yourself up at the expense of others. All right. Well, there you have it. Another Worship on Wheels in the books. I'm going to enjoy this beautiful ride on a gray morning You know what? If I was to take the word gray and just put a T on the end of it, it would be a great morning. And that's what this is. It's a great morning. Gray skies, cool air, a little dampness. It is just beautiful. Coach Vic's sleeping. It's early, and I am just enjoying the ride. All right, well, remember this, my friends. You, yes, you are loved, and so am I, and that's really good news. Now, let's go change the world. We'll see you on the road really soon. Woo. Oh, yeah.